Hello, everyone, and welcome to Self-Love Series session or episode 2. I have a wonderful guest that I will invite on in a moment. And I just wanted to give you a little intro to why I've created this series. I was inspired to create this series as a way to connect and share some amazing tools and practices about self-love and what self-care and what self-love rituals others partake in that give them a high vibe. So I have high vibe guests on every week, and it's a pleasure. And let's see here. I'm going to invite in Robbie, my friend. Okay, let's try this again. Self-love series, episode 2 with my guest Robbie. Let's try to get him back on. And let's see if this is better. Okay.
There we go.
A lot better. Oh my goodness. I had to change rooms too because something just started to happen, but I think we'll be okay.
Okay, good. You can hear me good? You can hear me, yeah?
Now, it was really bad before. So anyway, there we go. We're just adapting and smiling.
Technology, man.
Technology. Where are you tuning in from today?
I'm here in Toronto, Canada, back in the homeland.
Okay.
I just moved back 3 months ago from Miami. So I was living in the States for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, originally from Vancouver, and now I'm here.
All right. Yeah. So I'm like, me, where are you in the world? And you had safe travels and everything. You're good.
Yeah, it's been interesting here being in Toronto because it's been locked down for the last since March, but since I've gotten here, it's been locked down. So I haven't necessarily been fully immersed in the whole Toronto scene just yet, but I'm excited to be here. Yeah, and excited to be here with you. Good to see your face.
Too. And when I put together, it was months ago when I decided, oh, in February I'm going to do the self-love series because the world's so focused on finding a partner, and then it's just one of those things where I just really highlight self-love and practices people do and what self-love means to you, and hear from other people and share with the world you who are, I think so highly of. And anytime I ever get an opportunity to see your post, be involved with some of the things that you do, I always light right up. Not only your smile, which is incredible, but just your light, your light. So, oh, Robbie. So thank you for saying yes and joining. And yeah.
And I honestly think, I feel the same way about you, and I honestly feel like what you bring to the world is like so beautiful, um, and I think that this is a really appropriate and relevant topic to be speaking about and for people to be learning about. So I'm glad that you are doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I was thinking back to guest each week. I'm like, I kind of give a little intro about and let you introduce yourself and what you're up to and all. But I was looking back at the year. Did we meet in 2013?
Yeah, I think it was at an ambassador summit. Yeah, in Whistler, magical time.
Magical. So
Hmm.
yeah, I had the opportunity to be invited to go to Whistler for Lululemon Ambassador Summit, and Robbie was one of the head. I don't know what the title is, like leader,
I was the ambassador program manager at the time. Yeah.
right? And you just your presence everywhere, corralling us to different things we were doing and activities and everything. I met you there. It was pretty epic, like life changing. It just set me up on this really amazing path. But you're just an incredible person. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah, that was fun.
Likewise.
2013. My goodness. Like what?
We're getting older.
Yeah. Yep. Uh, so tell us a little bit about yourself. And it doesn't have to be too long, but
Yeah.
just whatever comes up when you think of you right now, doing that you're involved in that you would like to share with us, and then I'll ask you questions. But
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that I want people to know, or just like one thing that's really come forth about me that I've realized is that it just lights me up so much when I can see people in their in their journey of growth and in their journey of self-awareness. So any of the work that I do, whether it's with the company or whether it's this new company that I started with a couple friends, the idea really behind it is to see people grow, and to support them on that journey. And I think especially now during this time, it's so important to take a step back and to kind of really understand where your head is at, um, and have the knowledge and the ability to reflect, to be able to see things differently and to understand yourself maybe differently, because I think everybody is different right now and they're all experiencing different and new challenges. So that's just something. I mean, if I want everybody to know anything about me, is that like I'm just so curious about that journey, and with the overall goal for I want everybody to have a level of peace.
Mm.
And I don't mean peace like no war peace. I mean peace like no matter if they're going through trials and tribulations or they're going through like exciting highs, that there's always like this feeling of groundedness.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that this idea or topic of self-love is such an important piece to that. Um, and so yeah, peace is something that I hope everybody can achieve, and I know everybody can achieve.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, amazing. Um, yeah. So let me ask you a question too. So when you think of self worth, I ask everybody this. It's like, what does that really mean to you? And it could mean maybe different things that have come up in your own personal journey, or just or self care. Or what does like self love mean to you?
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about this because I was like, I haven't really thought about the concept in a while, like concept with itself. But I think that there of it that's acceptance is a big word that comes up for me. It's being able to um, understand who you are uniquely,
Hmm.
with all of your strengths and all of your imperfections, and and to be able to come to a point where you're like you could truly accept yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you can accept yourself, then other people are going to accept, like you'll feel acceptance
Yeah.
across the board. But what I also feel like really comes into play is the idea of like boundaries.
Yeah.
And and that, like, for me personally, like I felt like everybody needed to accept me at one point, and that it actually, I don't need everybody to accept me. I don't need global reach. I don't need global love. Like, there are certain things that I need, that fuel my acceptance
Hmm.
and fuel my self love, and like it really had to start with me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great thing to, yeah, because just personally in my own life, like in the 5 or 6 years doing a lot of work around realizing like the feeling of self love really blossomed, and that whole I want everybody to like me thing. Well, like you kind of learn, right? Of, well, some people aren't going to like you, and like that's okay, and whatever. But yeah, letting that like the things we can let go of and shed with really filling our cup, and what you said earlier with just peace. I remember particular work and being at that time, just being like, oh my gosh, like the big need right now is just peace, and then coming back and loving yourself and the faults and the good stuff and the things we don't really want to look at, and just
Yeah,
what that is really more authentic than too, I think.
yeah,
And back to what you said too about the individual, how we're all different and accepting of our unique nature of all of us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as I listen to us speak, as I as I listen to us speak, there's like this level of like, oh man, this is so fluffy, right? Like, this is such this could be, especially within the world of like masculine human beings, like this could be such a fluffy topic for people to talk about. Um, but it's but at the end of the day, like I think what I've learned is that this is what everybody's looking for,
Yeah.
right? And you may manifest it in different ways, or you may try to get it in specific ways. And like that was one of the things that I had to really like reflect on, is like what am I doing to actually find like true self-love versus like the love of others, or the adoration, or like the validation from others. And that was really freaking tough, man. Like I call it the bad news about myself, right? Like what is like the bad news about myself, that you know, when you're watching a movie and you that's coming up, and you kind of forward through it because you just don't want to put
Uh-huh.
yourself through that. Like there are a lot of things that I forwarded through about myself that I didn't want to look at, that I didn't want to like see. And I think that like that's why I think sometimes when we talk about self-love, it's like, oh yeah, just got to love yourself, and it's kind of fluffy, but like there's real work that's involved. There's real
Oh,
work.
yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you're bringing it because it's true. And it's a nice thing. Yeah. Of, well, yeah. And the love, like warrior work. It's, it's deep. It's hard. You're going to cry. I mean, I remember crying myself about a year and a half, 2 years from a lot of like stuff, and that's just one little section of my life so far. But, that like healing and nurturing. Like like I remember getting a bottle and being like, just like hug this thing, and it's like a Hallmark card kind of thing, but it's this is tough.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Somebody
well,
somebody said
yeah.
this to me one time. Somebody said this to me one time, and it was like, damn, that was like hard hitting. Is life is suffering, right? And it's like it's not about like conquering all of the things that cause you suffering, and not and like shielding yourself from all of those things that cause you to suffer, but it's like who you are within that suffering,
Hmm.
and like how you can get yourself, how you understand yourself, and what can you celebrate at yourself as you go through the suffering, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a dark tone, but like it's
There's
the truth.
to the real truth. And like the real truth is love. So if we're gonna get right in there, and
Mm,
not a surfacey thing, right? It's
mm,
so you're gonna go to places and yeah, like gonna
yeah,
that real love we're talking about, like for yourself. Wow, some potent stuff, Robbie.
I'm not messing around today.
Yeah, good, good. Um, what I do like to do next, because we have left, is what are some of your personal self-love rituals, self-care ritual that you're like, okay, and when you do it, you feel that feeling of self or like coming back. And lots of is there share with the audience and everybody, with just your particular go-tos that like you feel that when you do it.
Yeah, I'm going to say the T word because I think it's really important. And I have um, monthly therapy sessions.
Mhm.
I think that was a very important step for me to take, to like dig into some of the deeper work
Mhm.
around, you know, what was causing me not to love myself. you know, and sometimes it's like buried deep. And it's not like that for everybody, but I think that if there are people that are really struggling with it, then, you know, there is a moment where professional therapy actually becomes the thing to be able to unlock some of those things. And I think I'm at this point now where like I do it now because it is like great maintenance, you know, so I don't go into every session crying. I don't go in with like huge like issues. I go in to kind of like look underneath the hood, to just really, there are 45 years of stuff, you know?
Snowball.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it just, yeah. So like, it's not about just like picking up a book and reading it or looking at a really fun Instagram and being like, wow, that's a really inspirational. Like that's a part of the real, so therapy was only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, um, for those of you who are on the gratitude journal fence, get on a gratitude journal and just do it. Just do it for 30 days. And even if it's just one thing for 30 days, and it's incredible how much of a difference that has made in terms of self-love is, um, you know, because what I believe it does is that it like shifts the focus from me to others and about me that I love the most, which is giving back. Like I'm a generous person,
Yeah.
and so I want to be generous with my graciousness.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think the last thing that I would just add is just this idea of creating, my daily small rituals,
Mm.
right? And it sounds so silly, but I need to make my bed.
Yeah.
I need to like clean my kitchen. I need to sweat.
Yeah.
Um, I need to talk to somebody that shares a positive energy, right? That uplifts me. So a lot of these things are kind of like they create the environment
Yeah.
for me to be, in an amazing positive space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for me, it's like the small consistent things that are like the most powerful. Like there's no quick fix to the idea of loving yourself. There's not. It's like you have to have consistency. And so I think with the daily rituals of the things that honor me,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's like a big thing.
Yeah.
And sorry, one last thing. I love to have fun. Like I gotta have fun. I gotta do fun stuff every day.
Yeah.
So,
What's some fun thing lately every day? Name some things.
oh man,
The
I like
funnest
like
that you've done in the
the
last week.
the funnest thing that I've done in the last week is like binge watching movies or TV shows.
Have you been watching, or
What's that?
have you watched Cobra Kai, or have you?
Oh yeah, Cobra Kai's there.
I'm on season 2, so anyway, yeah, I've been doing that as well, and I'm like, I get my blanket, and or I put a face mask on. It's yeah, again, like that ritual of my tea in the morning and the routine of I need to sweat, I need to get that workout in, I need to get those endorphins going, or else boom. And I'm keeping the vibe high. Um, but yeah, so binge watching some stuff.
Yeah, I mean lockdown. Um, just trying to figure it out as I go, but
Yeah,
it's definitely very important for me. So consistency is probably like the big key, is that there's not one day where I woke up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love myself. And it just, it's a gradual feeling that I get, that where there's, I think the way that I would describe it, or like how I would gauge it, is how often does my mind go to the place of that inner critic,
mm-hmm.
that inside of your head that says like, you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not smart enough. Like, when I don't have those thoughts, is a real indication for me around my level of self-love.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And do you notice too, like as you move through the world and we're getting older and this and that, it's like you pick up these new little things too. And then you also back to the boundary of the no and the yes. It's sort of like you get even wiser to like that's gonna fill my cup, that's gonna fill my cup, that ain't, that's not, but I'm gonna maybe do it and then not that often or whatever. And then you feel like you just get really keen and aware to this works, that works. And I need those things to make me work. And then to
Mm.
share, like you said, like you thing with me. I love sharing with people. And if I'm not taking care of my container and my being and my spirit, I want to be a particular way when I'm with others. And so it's like super, it's number one. So it's like, okay, well, that starts with me. So then I can share. Um, but,
Mm.
but yeah, I notice like as I move through the world year by year, it's like this like new things come in and I love it. And I'll incorporate that into my the little daily things. And yeah, and having fun. Like and also letting go once in a while if you do go off your script a little bit. And and then brings you back. So I think that's another thing too, being really aware and awake to your tools and your rituals. And then if we don't know what those are for people who might be listening right now, they're like, do I have those? I don't know what those are. It's like, well, you'll know because you'll feel it. You'll
Mm.
do more and it'll feel whatever that feeling is for you particularly, right? Expansive, light, warm, contracted. And when we get into that contracted space, we do those things. Wet, we drink our tea, we make it slowly, we cook a nice meal, whatever it is. Yeah, but I find that I get a little better each year with like figuring that out. Okay, that's a yes, this works. I need that.
Yeah. And I think that there's a big point, there's a good point around that, is that there are going to be seasons where you don't feel that way.
Yeah,
There are going to be seasons where you do dumb stuff.
yeah.
Like you say dumb stuff, you act stupidly or whatever. And I think where I've had to really reconcile a lot of things in my life is like this forgiveness, and grace. It's like I'm not perfect. I'm not going to get it right all the time. I'm not going to know all the answers, and that critic. So
And then that self-compassion, honestly look within and then the love grows higher for us, like that deeper love within. It like blooms in a way when we look at our faults or our crappy that we don't all the time and we're like huh, and then yeah, there's that forgiveness and that grace that waves through when we're really honest. It's kind of, well, I kind of feel it like it washes through. It's quick if we let it shifts kind of. You'll feel it shift when you kind of accept it. Back to the beginning of the talk when you were talking about acceptance. Yeah,
yeah,
like that's really important. Yeah, like we're not always going to get that right, or we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to look back and go, huh, and then here we are now. Right? Step forward, and tomorrow create those rituals, keep our vibe up. And then yeah, some days aren't always going to be like great.
yeah. And I think what I would leave last is like for everybody, dig into your core values.
Mm,
Um, because when you understand what your core values are, those are your those are the things that are going to guide your behavior. Sorry, not going to. They do guide your behavior. And they usually guide your behavior in the most positive way that honor you the most. So for me, it's adventure, integrity, fun, compassion. Um, and I always have one that oscillates, that kind of changes, but those are like four that, like, if I'm living into those, I feel good.
that's a great, yeah. What are your core values? And then if anybody could take away from this, get quiet, pen to paper, and really think about that. Like, and hold those close. Sticky note, stick it up everywhere, or in your journal, or on your. What I like to do is on my laptop, right at the keyboard, I have a little note there, and sometimes it changes, sometimes it stays the same for a while, and I'm reminded all the time, like, right, okay. and it points, right? It leads in the behavior.
Yeah. And well, I'll just give a quick core values hack. If you're trying to figure out what your core values are,
Yeah.
all you really need to do is listen to yourself when you complain about things, because when you complain, it's usually something that you care about, which is ultimately core value. So if I'm complaining about friends who are always late, it's because it's the compromise of my value of integrity, right?
Yeah. There. Yeah. So people
It's an
can
interesting.
think about what annoys them and then kind of come up with them that way. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, yeah. Like, what do you get annoyed about and why?
Right. What do you get annoyed about? And then your values come out of there. They're already in there because they're already annoying you. So boop. Right, right. Great. Yeah. I hope people do that today. I'm going to. I'm going to get clearer. Oh, I talk forever. We can talk anytime, but thank you so much for uh, taking the time to share and your honesty and authenticity and your light. And yeah, and I just appreciate you. Thanks for saying.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, and you're doing some great work. So, yeah,
I'm
so
glad
much
that.
gratitude,
Sorry.
so much gratitude for you.
Oh, you too, Robbie. And good luck with everything transitioning over in Toronto. And I'm sure we'll be in touch soon. And this will also be, I'm screen recording this. Will also be on my YouTube channel for anyone that is not on Instagram. They can get there at Malaika.yoga YouTube. So yeah, thank you all so much. Bye, Robbie.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.